Hello and welcome to day 11 of 73. And today I'm going to talk about getting blindsided. I remember the first time I went to a rugby practice in high school in Marisburg College. To give more context, my first year, you had an option whether you played field hockey or rugby. And being a rugby school, there was more of a focus on the machismo of playing rugby. And so I did play field hockey the first year, but switched to rugby the second year. And I remember one of the first practices I had, there was this guy called Ricky Main. If he's watching this, shout out Ricky. But he, I didn't obviously know what exactly I was doing at that moment. And so I picked the ball up coming out of a ruck. And as I took two steps, my dude Ricky came through and just flat like just launched me. I thought I was in the groove. I thought I had found the gap and I was now running into a bit of space where no one was obviously there, but I can still remember his shoulder coming into my obliques and I landed flat on my ass. And it was, in hindsight, hilarious, but extremely painful at the time. And I do recall afterwards, I'm pretty sure he stood over me on some cocky business, like, what are you doing here? We will end you. But I always remember that first time I got launched in a tackle because it kind of reminds me of today. I don't necessarily have a catchy title or theme per se, but it's more in alignment of life just happens to you sometimes. So I just recently received a piece of not so good news, and I remember how I would be able to deal with it in the past. It would be something that I would now panic about, or I would now try and grasp at straws in trying to figure out the best way to be able to deal with it. But now, having gone on my journey and started it, I've noticed a shift in my perspective as far as the capacity that I do have to not only see things on the surface level, but to now pivot and understand which action would be best fitting going forward into the moment. It's something that I never used to have prior to my journey of self improvement and prior to me leaning into sobriety and not drinking alcohol. And for a second, yes, the feeling came through of, should I panic? Should I now run for the hills? Should I reach for the closest thing that's going to remedy this uncomfortable feeling or this uncomfortable situation? But as soon as that subsided, and I now stepped into a realm where I knew exactly what it was that I needed to say and do in order to make sure that that was now going to be a more manageable situation moving forward. I I wanted to start off with that blindsided tackle because this is life. As much as I've set the premise that in the next 73 days or so, I'm going to be sending out a video every single day, which is definitely what I'm going to do. More often than not, I do feel it's not going to be as polished or as refined as I would love it to be. But the purpose of this is being able to piece together those different days and for you to also see that things aren't always going to be perfect, that life is going to happen, that life is going to decide to Ricky Main tackle you in your obliques. Yeah, that's living rent free in my head. But the main lesson fundamentally is that through it all, this journey gives you strength. It gives you strength to now have a greater peace of mind and understanding and general love for yourself and how you can be able to navigate those spaces. Because you can't script anything. You can't write every single thing out and expect it to come the way that it is. But if you are now aware that that's going to happen and roll with those punches and become anti-fragile, then everything else starts to open up. Then this is why you realize that the journey is worth it at the end. So stick to it. You're going to get clobbered, but at the end of the day, you stay resolute. You're going to be fine. Thank you for your time.